Have you ever seriously wondered how you could just massively increase your income? Well, today we're diving into the secrets of self-made millionaires. And it all comes down to how they think about time. And here's a spoiler. It has nothing to do with working harder, but everything to do with working smarter in a really specific way. You know, we've all heard the hustle culture mantra, right? Grind it out, work longer, pull those 18-hour days. But is that really the secret sauce to building real wealth? Is that burnout lifestyle the only path to get ahead? Well, if you ask the people who've actually made it, the answer is a huge, resounding no. The real secret isn't about the number of hours you clock in. It's all about the value of the work you're doing within those hours. That's the game changer. Okay, so how do we actually make that shift in our own lives? Here's the roadmap. First, we're going to look at something called the 80-20 time trap. It's probably holding you back right now. Then we'll get into the Millionaire's formula. It's all about delegation. We've also got a strategy just for employees. We'll talk about valuing every single minute, and we'll wrap up with a time audit you can start using today. So let's kick things off with the big problem, the 80-20 time trap. Honestly, this one concept explains so much about the difference between people who are just busy and people who are actually productive and wealthy. So check this out. It's pretty shocking when you see it laid out like this. The average person spends about 80% of their day on low-value tasks. But you know what high earners do? They completely flip that. They spend their 80% on high-value, money-making activities. It's the same amount of time, but the focus changes everything. So let's get really clear on what we're talking about. Low-value stuff? That's the stuff that keeps you busy, but doesn't really generate profit. Think about it. Constantly checking email, sitting in meetings that go nowhere, tons of paperwork. High-value work is the total opposite. It's the stuff that directly brings in cash, like finding new clients, closing big sales, or creating a new way to make money. Okay, so now for the solution. It's called the Millionaire's formula. And honestly, it's all about some super simple math and the incredible power of delegation. It all starts with one number you have to figure out: your hourly worth. Now, this is not your salary divided by the hours you work. No. This is the income you generate when you are doing your single, most valuable, most profitable task. Once you know that number, the rule is dead simple. If you can pay someone else less than that number to do any other task, you delegate it. Period. Let's look at a real-world story to see how this plays out. This comes from author and self-made millionaire Adam Koo, who talks about what he calls his $4,900 mistake. So Adam figured out that his highest value task was conducting training seminars. When he was in front of a room training, he could bring in $5,000 a day for his company. That was his top tier value. But at the same time, he was doing all his own admin and accounting. Why? Because he thought he was saving money. I mean, hiring an assistant to do all that would cost him about $100 a day. Seems smart, right? Wrong. Here's where the painful math comes in. Every single day he spent doing admin work to save that $100, he was giving up the chance to earn $5,000. So he wasn't saving $100. He was losing a net $4,900 every single day. And he said it himself. I was actually losing money every day. The second he had this realization, he hired a team. And guess what? It freed him up to focus completely on training, and his income tripled to $100,000 a month. Wow. And this isn't just some one-off story. Real estate mogul Dennis Wee built his entire empire on the exact same idea. He knew his highest value was face-to-face with clients, showing houses and closing deals. So he hired people to do the paperwork and make the cold calls. That let him spend 90% of his time on the work that actually mattered. And the result? A multi-million-dollar business. Okay. I can hear you thinking that's great for entrepreneurs, but I'm an employee. I can't just go out and hire an assistant. And that's a totally fair point. But there is a really powerful strategy you can use, even in a regular job. So here's the game plan. First, you have to consciously change how you use your core 9 to 6 hours. Dedicate 70 to 80% of that time purely to the activities that make the company money. Then, all that low-value admin work, you shift it to after hours. Now, here's the crucial part. You have to track your results, quantify the extra profit you're bringing in, and finally, you take that data to your boss and proactively ask for an assistant. You see, you're not just going in there asking for a favor. You're building a business case. You are literally making your boss an offer they can't refuse. I mean, just picture walking into your boss's office and saying something like this. If you invest $1,800 a month in an assistant for me, I can bring in an extra $20,000 a month in profit for the company. For any smart manager, that's not a cost. That is one of the best investments they could possibly make. You know, this all boils down to a fundamental mindset shift. It's about valuing your time so much that you never, ever waste a minute. For the highest earners, even that waiting time that we all have becomes an opportunity to create value.
So instead of just scrolling through his phone while waiting for an appointment at the doctor's office, Adam Koo would bring his laptop and write pages for his next book. And Dennis Wee? While he was waiting for clients to show up, he was on the phone calling new prospects or stuffing flyers into mailboxes. They turned dead time into productive, high-value time. And the value they create is just incredible. Adam Koo actually did the math. Based on future sales, he calculated that every single page he wrote for his book was worth over $1,800. So that 1 hour he spent writing in a waiting room, it generated over $9,000 in future value. Think about that. So the big question is, how do you take all of this and apply it directly to your own life? It all starts with doing a personal time audit. We have to get practical here, because remember, maximizing your income isn't about working more hours. It's about making sure the hours you do work are spent on the things that create massive value. And really, that brings the final question back to you. I want you to take a hard look at your own day. What is the very first low-value task you can get rid of, whether you delegate it, just eliminate it, or shift it to make room for the work that actually matters? Answering that one question honestly is the first real step to transforming your time and ultimately your income.